All right, hello. It has been a long time since I last made a video, and in fact, I think probably close to a year and a half or so. It's weird because for anybody watching this, this is video number 4 or 5. I can't even remember. It's been that long, but for me, it's been like a long time. And I want to talk about something that is very interesting to me and that I think I got some good learnings from. So I started this 30-day income challenge because, well, frankly, not because I needed money or anything like that, but because I wanted to make money on my own terms. I wanted to do it the way that I felt inspired to do it, and also so that I could have the kind of lifestyle that I wanted while I was making the money. And I had this kind of emotional block when I would start thinking about making money and how much money do I want to have. And I've gone through lots of the success books. I mean, I'm sure there are more than what I've gone through, but Earl Nightingale and Tony Robbins and Napoleon Hill and Wallace Wattles and all of these different authors, Dale Carnegie, and they all talk about visualization and repetition and positive thinking and all of these things. And I don't know why, but for some reason, the whole income thing, it just wasn't working out for me. And so I struggled a lot the last year and a half, and I'm even struggling now to really encapsulate what it is that I learned. But here goes, trying to explain it to you. Essentially, everything has been just fine from a financial perspective. And I have truly deepened my understanding and learning that money is not the goal in my life. It's not the most important thing. It is purely an enabler of the goal. And it's also, I mean, it can be kind of a sub goal, but my number one goal is to be the very best dad that I can possibly be. And earning enough money is a part of that. But there are just kind of an unlimited number of factors that play into that. And at the end of the day, trying to set up earning a ton of money as my only goal is not being true to myself, because true to myself is that I want to be the best dad that I can possibly be. So after I made this income goal, the quick timeline is that basically my wife continued to work. She continued to get promotions. I continued to try to set up a life and a location of living where I wanted to live. And I kept getting involved in some small things that could be building, whether it's a business or building a website or something like that. But none of them really clicked and seemed to work really well. And we went overseas. We went and lived overseas for a couple of months, and things got really, really strained between Megan and me. And it got to the point where our relationship was kind of falling apart. And it wasn't due to any particular large stress event or anything. It was just because I think there was maybe honestly there was a lot of neglect there or whatever, and maybe there were a lot of little stresses that all built up. But we moved back to the US, we both started looking for jobs, we both got jobs, and we both started working on our relationship through this awesome book called Getting the Love You Want. And I would highly recommend that book for anybody who is looking for relationship help, and I think it's a huge thing. And we've gotten the relationship in order, and then we're both making good money working and all this stuff, and we both actually have really good jobs. I still find myself wanting to have a location independent business and to own my own income and all of these kinds of things. But every time I think about it, I'm reminded of an experience which I may have shared, but which I had in a house one time. We were living in Germany, and there was this house with a stone basement, and down in the basement there was a wood stove, and we needed to heat up the basement. And so I took some wood down there, and I thought, oh sweet, I'll light a fire and it'll be nice and warm. So I didn't have a lot of kindling. I didn't want to take the time to gather a lot of kindling and do all that stuff. And so I had a little bit of like smallish wood, but a little bit bigger stuff. And I was just like, you know what, I'll just do some newspaper and then it'll light the big stuff. So I tried that, and it sure as heck did not work. And I kept trying. I tried a whole bunch of different quick fixes. I don't know if I had something like lighter fluid, but even then, nothing worked. And I don't know, it was probably like, I think I actually got it lit, but then it just burned out. It was like everything was too cold, and it just couldn't maintain, there wasn't enough heat built up from it. And so finally, after many attempts, I had to just bite the bullet and say, fine, I will go. And so I went out, walked around, gathered sticks, got everything from the smallest tinder up through, all the kindling that was needed, and built a real fire and lit that fire. And holy crap, I feel like that fire, granted we had to feed it more wood, but I feel like that fire burned for days with no problem. It got so hot that we had to open the windows down there. And it was a very strong lesson to me that sometimes doing things the appropriate way and like building, like not trying to take shortcuts, is actually long-term the best way, and it's faster than doing things, than trying to jump ahead. So what does that mean for me and income? So right now, my wife and I are in a great position where we both have good paid jobs that are remote, and we can live anywhere in the US and potentially anywhere in the world. That is a massive piece of my dreams and goals in life right there, especially with some of the extra time and the uncertainty surrounding having your own business. I still very much want it, but it's really nice to be able to say, hey, I'm going to do my little piece and not have to worry about everything. And we're making enough that we can save money every month. And the cool thing about saving money every month is that we can get more and more in the position to be able to then take the leap into starting a business or something, and doing it the right way, I guess is what I would say. As I have been going through this journey, far and away, one of the most important, aside from the relationship stuff, which is unbelievably important, far and away, one of the other most important things for me has been acceptance of the present, of the current situation, or of the now, and I guess belief and faith and trust, and in whatever you want to call it, God, the universe, anything, but that I will be taken care of, and that I will be able to get what I want over time. And I truly believe that that a garden is a perfect analogy for life. I think that in life we do things that are just like planting seeds, and just like how we have to take care of gardens, and and we have to water things, and we have to weed, and we have to fertilize, and we have to aerate, and we have to do all these things to make seeds grow, and then they kind of magically grow on their own, even though we've prepared the environment for them to grow, but we didn't really make them grow. I feel like life is the same way, and I feel like the bigger things that you want to have grow in your life, first of all, they take consistency, but second of all, they take time to actually sprout. And as you try and plant different seeds for different things that you want, you can have those things, even if nothing shows up for a long time. Some seeds take quite a while to germinate and actually sprout, and come through the soil. And then even when they come through the soil, grape vines, as far as I'm aware, I don't know if they actually produce grapes at first, but I've gone on quite a few vineyard tours as part of my job at Intel, and they say they don't get grape for wines for 4 years. Grapes for wine, there you go, for 4 years. That's an incredibly long, large amount of time to wait to get something productive that you've been waiting for. But then you have to look at it and say, okay, why should my life be any different than that? Why should I decide that I want a successful business and expect to have it tomorrow? Why should I even decide that I want to do anything and just be able to do it the very next day? It makes sense that it takes time to grow and to develop and to cultivate all of the things necessary to have what you want in life. So my income challenge, I face a lot of frustration, and weirdly enough, it's not that I didn't have income, and especially right now, we have about double what we need to live. It's pretty awesome. And and we have that remotely. I don't commute to work every day. That is massive for me, and that is actually something huge that I have always wanted. So it's not that I haven't gotten it, it's that the path to get it has been a lot more rocky, and I've been a lot less patient and persistent than I could have been. And I don't regret the path either. That's everything that we do is part of the path to get to where we want to be. I don't know, because that's how our life is, and we all have our weaknesses and struggles. So I've reached the point now where my philosophy is be incredibly grateful for everything you have, including the things that you have that you don't like. One of the biggest things that actually was incredibly hard for me that happened in the last little bit is coming back from Europe with, a lot of disharmony in my marriage, but also feeling like all my hopes and dreams were just gone and crushed, and that I had completely failed. And that was unbelievably hard for me to deal with. It took me lower than I've ever been emotionally. I have a new understanding and, I guess, compassion for people who do things that are bad for themselves in whatever way, whether it's drugs, alcohol, cutting, overeating, killing themselves, whatever, because psychological and emotional pain, physical pain is really bad and it can be really bad and really debilitating, but psychological and emotional is just as real. And it could be worse, I don't know. Physical pain often brings some psychological and emotional pain with it, but the point is, it's unbelievably challenging. And I didn't understand that. And I'm extremely grateful that I have gone through experiences, and when I visualize my ideal life creation, I would like to explore the world and the universe and life and existence and all that with people that I enjoy. Like, that's pretty much my thing. And so having experiences is right there along, it ties in beautifully with what I really want in life. So what does this mean for me moving forward? What this means is, as of right now, I am going to plant the seeds and continue to positively, to be grateful and have positive knowledge, like implant in my subconscious the positive knowledge that my seeds will grow, and that anything that happens along the way is part of the seeds growing, is part of the path. I love the book The Alchemist because this boy goes off on a journey. He has a dream. He goes off to find the pyramids of Egypt because he thinks that there's a treasure there for him, or the dream told him that there's a treasure there for him. And he just falls flat on his face time and time and again in different ways for different reasons. And at the end, it all ties together to make this beautiful thing. And I think that there's real evidence that there is some kind of higher power or existence outside of this life, like that life is not just the physical reality that we're experiencing. And whether or not that is factually accurate, I still like believing in it because it seems to explain a lot, but it also helps me to have a lot of hope. And I love listening to near-death experiences where people have actually died clinically and they feel like they've had an experience with the afterlife, and they come back and they talk about it, because almost universally in these experiences, they come back and they have a whole new perspective that so much of what we fret about and worry about in this life does not matter. What matters is love, being ourselves, not being guided by fear, not being, directed by fear, however you want to say it, and relationships. And I mean, there are a bunch of things, but I want to live my life in such a way that I don't even think, personally, I mean, this is just Joe's beliefs. I would be surprised if when you die, it would be terrible if you had wasted your life. It would be just this like, oh, it's so bad. But at the same time, it's like, if you know that you're going to die, you know that this life is temporary and that there's something amazing afterwards. And so kind of a lot of the point of this life is growth and development and experience in ways that maybe, you don't experience in other ways. Then why fret about some of these little things and the time that things take or whatever? And so that's going to be my philosophy. So what I'm going to do is every morning and every night remind myself to be grateful for everything in life, to remind myself of my goals, especially of being the best dad that I can be, and how awesome my family is and how much I'm grateful for them. And just positively know that I am moving towards my treasure in life, to use the words of The Alchemist, but towards the goals that I have and the things that I want, the lifestyle that I want. Megan and I have dialed that in pretty well, and it pretty much consists of growth and positive contribution to life and enjoyment of everything, experience, adventure, all with people that we love and care about, and a lot of being outside and different things like that. But it's not about crushing people, winning in business, building the biggest company, anything like that. It's about, at the end of the day, the enjoyment and the shared enjoyment of life. And so that's what I'm going to focus myself on. I'm going to focus myself on gratitude and the vision that I have, the goal that I have, and actually making that real right now. And in fact, in many ways, I have that right now. It will probably morph a little bit as I go through life, but I have so much of what I want right now. So that's the plan moving forward. And as far as income is concerned, I absolutely still want my own company. I absolutely have ideals of how much money I want, but these types of goals are subordinate goals. And so I'm going to be grateful as life continues to open up for me, and I'm going to continue to work and jump on opportunities as they arise. But I'm going to do so more from a place of calm and harmony rather than from a place of angst and lack. And I truly think that that is the best way to do it. So anyway, that is it, and hope everybody has a great day. Thanks.